Hey guys, I'm here to do my reading wrap up for May and June. I read 12 books this month. I have my pen because I wrote them down. Or I read 12 books total May and June, 6 each month. That has kind of got me back on my average reading pace, which I'm really happy about because I've had kind of a slow start to the year. We do have Takaris. She did have to take a little bath, so she's hanging out. I don't know how long she'll stick around. And then I've done a couple takes because my dog keeps bumping the camera stand. So we're going to try to do this in a fell swoop while these two are still. I am going to start with May's reading month. All right, first book in May we have is Crowns of Oaths and Curses. I did read the novellas, which is Scepter and Sword. They're prequels to the start of this book. They kind of just give you a background on the main two characters in here. I did not rate those novellas. I don't really know why, I just didn't, so I'm not going to worry about it. Those novellas were the other two books that I read in May. They were between around 85 pages for both, maybe a little more, I don't know. But I read both of those and then I crushed this book in a few days. This book follows a witch named Rook and a high fae named Soren, and she runs away from the southern lands to the northern lands to fight in this battle where the king over there in this world you have fates given to you, and that king in the northern lands tried to deny his fate, and she's running from her fate, so she goes there to fight in that war. And in that war she figures out she can't run from her fate, so she comes back to the southern lands, and Soren is a part of her fate. She's been gone for 200 years, and when she left there was some prejudice against the witches, but when she comes back it's basically we completely wipe out witches of any kind, no matter if they're good or bad. Because while she's gone, there is a witch army that's trying to kill all the fae, and all the high fae are trying to kill all the witches. So they do not like each other. It's a very intense enemies to lovers. You don't even get any steam in this book. I am about 230 pages into the second one, and there's still no spice. I loved this though. I gave this 5 stars. Rook is one of my favorite female characters I've read about. Kind of a little reflective, but I think that cover is so beautiful. I did read this on my Kindle just because it is a chunky book. It is also on KU. So if you want to check it out and you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get it there. The novellas are also on there. This is part of a 3-book series. The third one is not out yet, but I am loving this. I love Rook as a character. She's very gracious and stoic and brave and intelligent and empathetic, and she's such a beautiful character. Soren, on the other hand, you kind of want to punch him most of the time, especially in the beginning. You kind of get why he's acting the way he's acting, but as it goes on and she proves herself and that she's not one of these bad witches, you just kind of want to deck him in the face. But other than that, witches, I love this. This was so stinking good. This kind of really even got me into a roller coaster of just wanting to read all the time, and I really appreciate that. Next up, I read Someone We Know by Shari Lepan. I cannot say that, I'm sorry. I gave this one, let's see here, 4 stars. It was such a good thriller. It's so fast paced. When this book literally ended, the 2 of the characters in here, I was like, you can't leave me there. I need another book. I need to know what happens, and you don't. That's how it ends. I guess that's a common thing for this author, is that being how it ends. So that was kind of disappointing because I remember finishing this and I ran to my bookshelf and was hoping there was a second one because I own a few by this author, or at least that the characters were in another book. They're not. This book, I think I said I gave this 4 stars. Yeah. This book follows a bunch of people in a quiet suburb, and one of the residents goes missing and ends up being found murdered a week later or something like that. and everyone in the small towns in question. You kind of mainly follow this woman whose son is breaking into houses, and she kind of characters come in and then you see their points of view. So there's a lot of people that you follow in this book, and they're all very different. I don't give it 5 stars because for me, my rating system is if I give it 5 stars, it's just amazing. I wouldn't change anything. And then I have like top tier 5 stars, which are just all-time favorites. But there's a couple things that I don't feel like were completely wrapped up or could have been different for me. That's why it's a 4 stars, but otherwise this was so good. Last physical book I have is The Bone Season. I reread this in the author's preferred text. She took and fully revised this whole series. I actually shouldn't say that. I think I started with this in May, and this really got me back in the mood, and then these two were such hits. Like, everything has been so good lately. I gave this 5 stars. I loved this the first time I read it. I loved it the second time I read it. I really need to pick up the second book and keep going in the series. I even tabbed a few little bits. There's no like coordination to my tab. It was just parts I enjoyed. This lives in a world, this takes place, I guess it's kind of dystopian. It takes place in London, and in this world there's clairvoyance, which is people who can, like, I don't even know, they do a lot of different things. They can see spirits. Some of them read cards, some of them do different kind of, like, I don't even know how to describe it. But our main character, Paige Mahoney, she is the dream walker, and she basically can, like, they sometimes put her on a ventilator, but she can, like, pull her spirit from her body and go into other people's minds or watch for other people's auras. I might be describing that wrong. It's really interesting. But there's a bunch of different people like that, like clairvoyants, that do a lot of different interesting things. And she lives in the Republic of Sicon, in London. And they do not like clairvoyants. She's part of a gang. That's really the only way for clairvoyants to live, is if they can be part of one of these gangs. And she is part of, like, one of the most ruthless gang lords, and the Republic of Sicon wants to kill all of them, and she ends up getting caught and taken by them, but she doesn't actually get murdered. They are giving some of these clairvoyants, especially special ones, over to these mysterious, like, basically alien type people. I think they come from, like, a different dimension. They're called the Rephim. I'm saying that totally wrong. But she gives them to this different, we're just going to call it alien type people. And most of them think they're superior, and they go there kind of to serve and then help these people whose their plane of existence was wiped out by monsters, and now they want to be here. And basically they sound like they want to take over the whole world. Some of them do, and then some of them, who are main male character, wants to help the humans. And you follow that journey, and it's so incredible and so amazing. I would definitely recommend you read this. I loved it. These new covers are so beautiful as well. Next up, I do have a physical copy of It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, which is a continuation of It Ends With Us, and that follows Lily Blooms and Atlas. I gave that 4 stars. I really loved that book. I loved seeing more of Atlas's story, and this dragon is trying to fall asleep on me. I loved seeing more of Atlas's story. I'm holding this like it's a book. I don't even know what this is. This is literally just a list of other random books. My book list is here. Anyway, I read that. I gave that 4 stars just because it was so nice to be back in that world, just to see how that ends. And I'm glad that Lily and Atlas kind of get that happy ending. And I like that you saw more of Atlas in that book. And It Starts With Us, and you get to know him, and the title of the book makes sense, and it was so stinking good. I'm gonna put this little chunk down, and then I'll be right back. She's dead weighting it, which she likes to do when she wants to fall asleep. Okay, I am back. That was all of the books that I read in May. I'm going to jump into June. I had to move my bearded dragon because she is starting to fall asleep, and when she falls asleep, she dead weights it, and she's kind of pulling my hair down. So we're gonna get going on what I read in June. I feel like May was such a good month. June felt great. A lot of it though was on my Kindle, so that is why I need my list. The one book that I listened to on audio, because I was listening to the graphic audio, was Ruthless Fae by Zodiac Academy, or Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fae Book 2 by Suzanne and Caroline. And this is the second book. It was a reread. I listened to the graphic audio. The graphic audio is amazing. I gave this one 4 stars. I love Orion. He's one of my favorite male characters, and I love Darcy. She's one of my favorite female main characters. I love them. Outside of that, I really like Tori. I just love this world. I love being here. June was a very stressful month outside of this vlog or this wrap up and my haul. I haven't consistently been able to film, but I'm working on a reading vlog now because everything's settled down. But this is such a comfort read for me. I am listening to the third one on graphic audio. The graphic audios are so good. I can't really say what this is about because it's just a continuation off of everything that happens in the first one, and I just loved it, and that was awesome. By these same authors, I read Savage Fae and Dark Fae. Savage Fae is book 2, Dark Fae is book 1. I gave Dark Fae 4 stars, and then the second book, Savage Fae, 3 stars. This book follows a girl named Elise, whose brother goes off to another school like Zodiac Academy. This one isn't as prestigious, but she goes there to figure out who killed her brother. And she's under the impression that her brother was murdered by one of the 4 kings of this school, which are the 4 love interests. This book is a dark romance, dark academia. I would say it's also a reverse harem. And you have Dante, who's our storm dragon. You have Gabriel, who's in Zodiac Academy, who's our harpy. You have Leon, who I fell in love with over the 2 books. He is the lion, the Nehemian lion. And then you have, Ryder, who is the basilisk, that's how you say it. Ryder and Leon are my favorite. I don't so much care for the other 2 yet, but her job is to go in there, figure out what happened to her brother, and then she's gonna murder whichever king murdered her brother. I am really interested in the mystery aspect, especially in the first book. I'm also very interested in her brother Gareth. He has flashback chapters. I love those. The first book I feel like focuses a little bit more on the mystery, and there's not too much spice. I'm not a huge spice reader. I obviously love Zodiac Academy and it has a lot of spicy scenes. I am someone who will start skimming after 2 or 3 depending on the book. The second book for this was just too much. I'm also not a huge reverse harem person, but I knew that going in, so I can't really hold that against the book. But I love the mystery. I love those Ryder. I just think the basilisk part is really cool. Leon is such a fun character. I like Elise. I started the 3rd book and then I decided to set it aside, even though the 3rd one they go to Zodiac Academy. But there's so much spice in the 2nd one that I just need to take a cleanser from it, because it feels like that's all it is spice. Because it'd be like Gareth's chapters that aren't spicy. Then Elise is more like figuring stuff out, but then each guy's chapter comes in because you get all their point of views. And now they're just trying to do things with Elise, or like, not even like in that kind of way, but just, it's just all about her, and it's just kind of getting a little overwhelming. That's why the 2nd one got 3 stars. is it was too much, and I think if I continue and read the third one right now, I won't be able to give it. So I read those first 2 books. I still liked it because I just love that world they are made, and I will go back and finish them up at some point. But I read those 2 books, and then I did an unexpected turn and read this book called Dark Fae. I kept seeing it, and I love also these books are not in order. I love Dark Academia. This book is also Dark Academia, reverse harem, dark romance, I think. I don't know about that third one. I know it's Dark Academia. This one really interested me because it was about a girl named Isabel who is a twin vampire. Her twin is a male, but female twin vampires are like extremely rare. And at the start of the book, someone tries to come after her, and her parents sent her to the boarding school where her brother is. And Isabel has no experience of any kind with romantic relationships, friendships, interactions with people outside of her mom, her dad, and her brother. So she lands into this world. It all moves extremely fast. And her love interests are her brother's best friend, who is a powerful vampire. This world also has different dimensions. Where the book takes place, this world is basically all monsters. And then where this love interest, who's her brother's friend, his name's CJ, he comes from a world like ours, where there's humans and stuff, and then the paranormal kind of hide. And he's the son of a vampire king, and he's also half dragon. And nobody in this book knows that. You only know that when you get his point of views. But dragons in this world aren't a thing. You don't know about them. So you have CJ, then you have a fallen angel who comes from a different dimension, basically heaven. And what is his name? What is his name? Castiel. Think of Supernatural. You have him. I was really fascinated by him, but then the concept of him just wasn't done right for me, and he kind of irritated the most out of all 3. And then the third love interest is this ghost that lives in her dorm room that was murdered, and she's trying to help him. It is a lot more spice than it is anything else. The premise of the mystery I'm really interested in. You figure out who murders this boy in her dorm, but there's nothing really to it. And then even she's trying to figure out the mystery about why her parents sent her to the school and what's special about her, but you don't get a lot of that. I think the first book was like 470 pages or something. I read it pretty fast. I was fascinated by the idea of it, but it was so much spice. And it was so just like, I don't like to rip on readers or authors because it takes so much to write a book. I just think she had such a great idea and it wasn't executed very well. But at the same time, this book is put out. The second one just came out. I still want to read the second one because I'm curious with like the major cliffhanger in the first one. But the whole trilogy will be out at the end of next month. So I didn't rate this one because I'm not sure where I'm feeling. I feel like maybe 2.5. But I don't know. I'm going to check out the second one and see what I think. After that, I moved in to this series. Crush. I read Crush and Crave. I just finished Crave today. No, Crave and Crush. Crave is the first one. Crush is the second one. These are also on Kindle Unlimited. I should say everything that I didn't show you physically, they're all on KU. I do want to own this whole series. I gave this one 4 stars. Did I give this 4 stars? No. I gave Crush and Crave both 3 stars. This I would say is like middle YA probably. There's like different levels to YA, which I'm probably sure all of us know. I love a good YA once in a while. There's some pretty like mature YA. This one is not it. This one follows a girl named Grace whose parents die in a tragic car accident. I think it's a car accident. And she gets shipped to Alaska to live with her uncle and her cousin, and her uncle is the headmaster of basically this private school in Alaska. And this private school in Alaska is for primarily vampires, werewolves, witches, and dragons. And Grace is a human, and she goes there. And the second she meets Jackson, which is this vampire prince, they can't be separated. This book takes place over the course of 1 week. And basically the whole time Jackson is just trying to save her from dying because someone's trying to kill her, because they kind of wake up this bond between the two of them by touching, and there's this mystery of someone basically just wants to kill her to get back at Jackson, and that's all I'm really gonna say, not to ruin it. I had such a fun time reading this. I think I read this in 2 days, and this is a chunker, and then I read the second one in a few days as well. I have the third one on my Kindle. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read that right now or if I'm gonna check out something else, because basically all my ideas of what I wanted to read for June, I didn't do them and kind of just went down a rabbit hole, but it was the best rabbit hole because I've loved everything I've read. Also, this takes place at an academy as well, which I think every single book I read in June took place at an academy, because Dark Fae and Savage Fae are both at an academy. Ruthless Fae is Zodiac Academy. Dark Fae by Eve Newton was at an academy, and these two take place at an academy. I love a good academy book. I love it so much. I do not get sick of an academy book. That's probably one of my favorite, what are they even called? Like, it's not a trope. I don't even know what you'd call that. If you know what that's called, let me know. But that, I love school settings. So I've been reading these. I read some big books in here in June, but that is the 12 books I've read in the last 2 months. I am gonna put up a video of the next books I read, because these don't have any videos. And I will be back, but that is my wrap up. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great week.